Hi, my wonderful crochet friends. Today's tutorial are these really cute, adorable miniature beanie ornaments. Look how cute these are. This one here, this is a cotton ball. Isn't that cute? Look at that. And it fits right in the palm of your hand. So these two right here, they don't have cotton balls. So for this pattern, you can make it with or without little snowballs on top. Isn't that cute though? And then look at this. Hold on. So like when it hangs, it kind of hangs at an angle. So it's up to you where you decide to put um, your little handle to hang on your Christmas tree. So you can put it directly behind like this one so that when it lays straight, or you can do it like this one so when it lays at an angle like this. Isn't that adorable? They're so cute. So for this tutorial, we are going to use, and I really like this yarn. This yarn is so soft. It's so soft and it's not itchy or anything. I love this yarn. I love it. So this yarn is Yarn Bee Tender Touch. And so it's not really a chunky yarn. When it's worked up just like a number 4 weight yarn. It's just really soft. So you can make this pattern and they'll still come out the same size if you use, um, an acrylic number 4 weight yarn or super saver or whatever, whatever you want to use. So that's the great thing about this pattern. You can use this Yarn Bee Tender Touch, or yeah, you can use super saver, anything you want. And if you choose a bulkier weight yarn, then it'll be just a little bit bigger. And if you choose a smaller weight yarn, it'll be a little bit smaller. But either way, they're still going to be so adorable and so cute on your Christmas tree. So let's get started. So you'll need your yarn and hook. The hook size that we will use, this here, let's see if I can get that to focus here. I got so much going on. This is an I-9 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And this is just a Boye Brand sparkle acrylic hook. I like these. These are pretty. And we will need our scissors. And also, we will need a yarn needle to close up our beanie on the sides here. So we have, this is like a little swatch. So what we will do, this is what yours will look like. We will close it up. We will seam it. And then we will cinch the top closed. And if you want, we can add a little snowball pom-pom to it. So we will need that yarn needle. And if you want to do the snowball, you'll need 1 cotton ball per beanie. So we'll need that. And to sew on our little snowball here, we will need sewing needle and thread. Let's see if I can get that to focus. Yeah, just a regular sewing needle and some all-purpose thread or whatever thread you have. So this is the supplies that we need for our little mini beanie. So go ahead, grab your yarn, your hook, and let's get started. So to get started, we will need a little bit of a long yarn tail. So I'd say about 10-inch yarn tail. So you just grab it, pull a little, about that much. We're going to make our slip knot. We got our 5.5 millimeter hook. And again, this will be for a 4-weight yarn. And to begin, we are going to chain 13 chains. So we have our 13 chains, and I'm going to go into the back bump. You can go into the back loop right here or the back bump, but in our second chain from our hook, we're going to go into the back bump, and we are going to make one single crochet. So we are going to continue making one single crochet in each chain until we have 2 chains left. So these last 2 chains we are going to leave empty, but the rest of them will be single crochets. So you should have a total of 10 single crochets. In these last 2 chains here, we are going to make 1 slip stitch in both chains. We are going to chain 1, and we are going to tighten down that chain 1. Then we will turn. For row 2, the first 2 chains will be 1 slip stitch in each, but now we are going to work into the back loop. So we're just going to turn it a little bit, and you see our chain 1 right here. Here's our 2 slip stitches. So we are going to go into the back loop of that slip stitch, and we are going to make 1 slip stitch. We're going to go into the back loop of that next slip stitch and make 1 slip stitch. In the remainder of the chains, we are now going to make 1 single crochet in the back loop only. So on each chain now, be 1 single crochet in that back loop. We're just going to continue those single crochets. And this will give us a really nice ribbing. Just like this. So you'll see this part is our widest point. So this will be where we fold the brim. And the smaller section here is because of those slip stitches. And also because we tightened down the chain 1. I've realized after a lot of practice that when you tighten down that chain 1 before you begin your next row, it really helps to just keep it all real tight, which actually makes it better when we stitch it and cinch it closed. So I'm just going to finish up these single crochets here in the back loop. We got 10 of them. And this is what it looks like so far. So it's already starting that kind of raised ribbed effect. So for the next row here, when we chain 1, we can choose to chain 1 and just turn and go directly in and make our single crochet, or we could chain 1 and pull and tighten that chain 1 down. Totally up to you. I like tightening it down, but let's see. This, I did tighten down the chain 1. So even if you tighten down the chain 1 right here on this side of our little panel piece, it'll still be wider here. I think it just gives it a nicer, cleaner look. And actually this technique is great for beanies that fit, adults, children, babies. Like, it gives it just a nice, tighter, cleaner look, especially when it's stretched. So just keep that in mind if you're making, any regular size beanies. Doing this, I have learned after, making all these ornaments and making adult beanies, that this technique actually helps a lot. It makes it look a lot nicer. So for row 3, we're basically going to be repeating row 1, except we're going to do this in the back loop only. So all our stitches from here on out will be in the back loop only. So this same chain here, there's our same chain. We're going to go into that back loop, and we are repeating row 1. So we are going to single crochet, and now we are going to make 9 more single crochets. 1 single crochet in the back loop of those next 9 chains. So that is our 10 single crochets. So now we have, let's see if I can zoom in here. Now we have 2 chains left. This very last stitch, this last chain here, it's going to be a little hidden. It's going to be a lot smaller than that second one, but it's there. So we're going to go into that back loop of that slip stitch and make one slip stitch. Now that last chain here, just stick your hook in there and pop that out. So it's going to look a little hidden. Just stick it in there. Your hook will find it, and then complete that slip stitch. Chain one, pull and tighten that chain one down, and turn. And see how this is already smaller and tighter than this side? That's exactly what we want. So we are going to repeat row 2. So here's my same chain. It's the back loop of that slip stitch. I'm just going to complete that slip stitch. Next chain in the back loop, one slip stitch. And on the rest of our 10 chains, back loop, one single crochet. So that is our 2-row repeat. We are just going to keep repeating these 2 rows, and we are going to keep doing this until we have exactly 17 completed rows. And look how nice that looks so far. I really, really like this raised effect. I really, really like what the single crochet does. Okay, so we are going to keep repeating this. I'm going to keep repeating this. And if you want to go ahead and count your rows, here's where we began. So here is our slip knot. And here is our foundation chain. And here is row 1. So what you will do is you will see, here's row 1, there's row 2, here's row 3, and here's row 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes this row right here is a little hard to see, but it's there. So just remember, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and just count them like that. Or you can always add like a piece of yarn, at the beginning of each row, or a stitch marker. But I'm just going to go ahead and finish up this row with you all really quickly. And then we will meet back up to fold our beanie together and stitch it up. And then we will cinch up the top and apply our cute little snowball. So it looks like I'll only have one chain left, but I actually have 2. That very last one sometimes is hidden. So make sure you count your 10 single crochets and then one slip stitch and one slip stitch for a total of 12. So you'll have a total of 10 plus 2 slip stitches, 12 chains altogether. So go ahead and finish up your 17 rows. Your 17th row will be an odd row. And the odd row will end on this side. So you will start here with your slip knot. You'll chain out and you'll begin your first row here working this way. So after you work back and forth your 17th row, you will work here going this way. So your last loop here will be on the same side as your yarn tail, for your slip knot. So just continue on with your 2-row repeat until you complete 17 rows. And your 17 rows, you will end on this side of your work. So here is the yarn tail we began with our slip knot, and your 17th row will end on the same side as your beginning yarn tail. And go ahead and finish that up, and I will meet you back and we will put our beanie together. So I'm back and I've finished up my panel. So we have 17 rows here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So we have 17 rows. And if you'd like to know how large your little panel swatch is, our widest part, and I will just give it just a slight little tug to measure it, is right at 6 inches. But once completed, I really like this one. I think this one's so adorable with the gray and the little snowball. But once completed, it's about 3.5 inches wide. And without the snowball, it's 2.5 inches tall. Isn't that adorable? I just love it. I just love it. Couldn't you imagine a little amigurumi like snowman and it having this little hat on it? Like, that would be so adorable. So if you're into amigurumi, you can always make like a little doll or a little stuffed animal toy and use this as a little winter hat. So before we begin to sew this up, we are going to need, let's see, about maybe 10 inches of yarn tail just to sew this little guy up. So what we will do is that loop that we have left from that 17th row, we are just going to pull that yarn tail, and we're just going to pull and bind that off. And now we're going to grab our yarn needle. Now my yarn needle is, the eye of it is just a little small, so I might be able, actually, I might be able to get that. Yep, I got it on there. Okay. So what we're going to do now, so here's our little beanie hat. So we're going to take it and we're just going to fold it. And that yarn tail we're just going to keep off this way. So right here, the side closest to you, we're going to go into the front loop of the very first chain in the side closest to us. Now we're going to go over here to the first chain, but now we're going to go into the back loop. So we're going to go into the back loop of the chain that is furthest away from us. Now I'm going to go into the next chain. I'm still on the same side, on the side furthest away from us. I'm going to go into the back loop. And then I'm going to go into the front loop of this side facing us. And now I'm back on this side. So that means I'm going to go into the front loop. And then I'm going to go into the back loop of the opposite chain. Now that I'm on this side here, I'm going to go into the back loop. And then the front loop on this side. So this is our sewing pattern. We're just going to repeat this, going all the way across. Front loop, back loop. Then back loop, front loop. Front loop, back loop. Back loop, front loop. Front loop, back loop. Back loop, front loop. And I know that might look a little funny, but we're going to turn this inside out. So this right here, this side will be our inside. Now right here, it's not completely joined that well. So I'm going to go back over here and stitch that like that. Now I'm going to go back up. So what I'm going to do now is you kind of see how this kind of looks almost a little zigzaggedy. I'm just going to go through those two chains that are right there. I'm just going to go through those. So I'm basically doing the same thing, just going backwards. And I'm just working my way back up. And we need this yarn tail going back up because we need 2 strands going out. Now this one, I just used 1 strand, but to make this easier, let me show you this one. This one here has 2 strands that are tied together. We have both of these yarn tails sticking out the back top. And that's what we want to do here. So that is why we are working our way back up. And that is what it looks like so far. So now we are going to turn it inside out. And here's both our yarn tails. The yarn tail that we just got done using, I really wanted to stick out right about here. So I'm just going to insert my hook and pop through there. I'm going to grab it and pull it out right here. And that is going to stay right there until I use it to tie our little handle. Now this yarn tail here with our beginning slip knot, we are going to thread this with our yarn needle. So now we want to close the top of our beanie. We want a really nice, perfectly cinched, closed top. And in order to do this, do you see how we have like this ribbed effect here that sticks up? We are going to go into the top part of this raised ribbed section. We're going to do this all the way around in each of these raised rib sections. So essentially we're skipping a row. We're skipping this row right here and going into the top of that raised ribbed row. And we are going to do this all the way around. I'm going to go back into, so I'm at the end here. I'm going to go back into that first rib section. And now we're just going to pull tight. And what we are going to do is, you see how we have our ribbed sections here? We are just going to keep going through those rib sections. So what we will do is we just keep going around in a circle until we feel like it is nice and tight and closed. So here we have that strand that we will use to make a tie for our beanie. And here we are with our yarn tail. So I'm going to go in the middle and out the side right next to this other strand here that we will use to tie. So now we have our tie. So we will take our two strands and follow it straight across, and we need to decide how long we want our tie strand to be. And then we will wrap it around our finger, kind of like how we do a slip knot. And tie a knot. And then we will clip this. So here's our beanie. Now we need to just fold the cute little brim. And look how cute that is. Look at that cute little guy. Isn't that cute? So now all we have to do is sew on our cute little cotton ball snowball. So to do this, we will need one cotton ball. We will need our sewing needle and our thread. And we don't need a whole lot of thread, just a little. Here we go. So what we will do now is we will kind of scrunch this. We're just going to stick this through. About 2 times. Just to get it on there pretty good. Or you can go through it one more time. Just to get a nice little hold on it. Then we will go over here to our top here. We're going to go through that beanie. We just need to turn to adjust. And now we are going to go straight through that cotton ball again at the bottom. We're just going to go straight through that cotton ball. And then we're going to go straight through that beanie again. We're going to try to go at different angles. So we're going to give that a nice little tug. Then we're going to go through that cotton ball. Try not to disturb the shape of our cotton ball. And then we're going to go through that beanie again. So we're just doing this just a few times, going around it, just to make sure that it's on there good and tight. And it's on there. And I know making little tiny miniature pom-pom balls out of yarn is actually pretty, it's not quite easy. It's definitely easier making big ones. And really tiny ones for this size beanie is quite hard. That's why I thought that it would be very easy to just add a cotton ball, and I really like it. I think it looks really, really cute. So there we go. How cute is that? Like, how adorable. I think the ones with the little cotton balls are so cute. But these are cute too. These without the cotton balls, they're so adorable. I love it. I do. Oh, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, that little bell right here in the right hand corner of the video, right underneath the video. Hit that bell, subscribe, turn your notifications on. Hit the like button over here on the left hand corner of the video. And also leave a comment if you want. Let everyone know how much you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys really, really soon with another crochet tutorial. Thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.